In this episode, I'm going to offer you irrefutable proof that no God cares about us, especially not the God of the Bible or the God of any holy book. These gods cannot care about us, and I'm going to explain to you why. But before we get into it, come on into the chat, greet somebody in Reason's name. What's up, y'all? My name is Be Good. I'm the host of Ichabod. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, subscribe. We got some good stuff coming up. And if you're not new, what's up, y'all? Much love. Come on into the chat. Shout out to all of the Patreon supporters, all these folks here. If your name is on the screen, your name is in my heart. If your name is not on the screen and you'd like it to be, you can become a Patreon supporter. $5 a month, $10 a month. Some folks give even more. Just to show their appreciation for the channel, and I appreciate that appreciation. So thank you to everybody that's standing with the channel. What's up? Hey, Eddie. Good to see you. Without faith was first. Says, stay warm if you can. Look, let me explain something to y'all. We got about 15 inches of snow, 16 inches of snow here in Philadelphia. And I was dreading having to go out and shovel that blank. And I was up here in my studio working, had me a nice big breakfast so I can go out and prepare to break my back on this snow and not just shovel my steps. I got a bunch of steps going down to the sidewalk. Then I got to shovel the sidewalk, and then I got to dig my car out. And the stuff is starting to freeze because they came through and plowed the block and pushed all the snow up against the cars. I was dreading it. Had me a nice big breakfast and came up here to, digest my food and mentally prepare to go out and deal with that nonsense. And I started getting this ding, 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 ding. I mean, just ringing my bell incessantly. I'm like, who does that? So, but I knew what it was. Days like these, the young boys come around. Hey, can I shovel your walk? Now, when I was a kid, you shovel somebody's walk for like what, $5, $10? It was two of them. One was a young boy, like 17. Other one was like in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. I'm like, first of all, why you ringing my bell like this, bro? Like, chill. My fault. How much y'all charging? Anyway, I looked at the snow that they were standing in, and the snow was coming up past his knees. I said, y'all, I didn't tell them this. In my mind, I was like, I don't even care how much y'all charging. Do the walk, do the car. He was like, you think we can get like it's two of us. You think we can get like 15 a piece? I gave him 20 a piece because I know ain't no way in the world you're going to catch me out here shoveling this. I did it 2 weeks ago and almost killed myself. So I'm officially old head now. I'm at that stage. I don't know if it's AARP. I'm not 50 years old yet, but I need to tell somebody I'm at the stage where I don't shovel my own snow. I'm at the stage where I don't help people move. I'm at the stage, like that's the stage I'm at. So I'm pre-AARP, but there's some delegation that I need to reach out to say, hey, I'm at that stage. I'm not doing that no more. I literally am thinking I'm not going to move to Florida where the retirees go, but I'm thinking about moving somewhere where I never have to deal with snow again. So sorry to chew your ear off on that, but yes, I'm staying warm and I'm even paying to do it because I'm not going out there. Who else did I miss? Truxton, what's happening? Hey, y'all. My sister is in the house. Sha, what's happening? Why is my cursor not moving anymore? I know I saw Mo Wheat. I can't get to it because my cursor won't move. What's up, Mo Wheat? If I can get to your comment, I'll get back up there and change it, but my cursor won't move. All right, so let's not take too much more of your time. You saw the thumbnail. I don't know if you know some of the shenanigans that's been going on, but like I said, I think I have irrefutable proof. These gods that people told us about, they don't love us. They can't. There's certain things you don't do to people that you love. And I could run down a list and a litany of things that Bible God supposedly is responsible for that to me would be proof, oh, so he doesn't love us. But I'm not going to run down the list. I'm going to deal with one thing. One thing. The fact that we have to take people's word for the shit that the Bible claims God did to demonstrate his love, his care, his will. The fact that we've got to rely on anybody's word of mouth is proof that no one loves us. Because I want to explain or demonstrate just how faulty, just how fallible, just how futile word of mouth actually is. And if you see my eyes getting real low, just know it's because I'm real high. So if you're not drinking nothing, if you're not, taking no edibles or smoking nothing, I'm going there. But just know I'm on the clouds with this one. All right. And y'all talk to me in the chat. Let me know if anything goes awry or amiss with the mic or whatever. But yeah, man, I don't think they love us. I don't think we could say, I think if anything, if the gods are real, then the idea of holy books is a cruel sham. It's not love. It is proof of the opposite. It's proof that the gods are fucking with us. And this is coming from somebody who was a champion of the Bible. I got a whole discography of me making ballads and love songs to God about his Bible. I didn't worship the Bible. I worshiped the God of the Bible. But what did the text say? That God honors his word above his name. So this Bible, this God's speech, God's mind in print is what I thought I had access to. That is not love. That is cruelty. But to get there, to get to that point, because I'm also going to talk about a little back and forth, a little spat that I had with a local pastor here in Philadelphia. And the local spat was on Facebook. If you follow me, you might have seen a little back and forth on his page. But even that was me just trying to say, you think this is God's love? Like that's going to do it for you? But before we get to the pastor, before we get to all that, we're going to talk about DJ Vlad. Now, maybe you don't know about this, so I'm going to just run it down for you real quick. DJ Vlad is the guy in the middle. This white guy here. I think he might even be Jewish. I'm not sure. I should have done my homework, but I didn't. But this white guy here, DJ Vlad. Vlad was podcast before podcast. Before the world of podcast, Vlad just had a channel on YouTube where he would set up his camera and his microphone. You would never see him. You would always only see this black face. And when I say black, I mean, brown, black people, African Americans. You would see rappers talking about hip hop stories, their careers, beefs in hip hop. It got to the point where people started saying, I think Vlad might be a Fed. Like he might be working with the feds because he gets people on his camera, basically what we call dry snitching or snitching on themselves even. Like you're doing an interview, but in this interview, you're talking about stuff that could get you locked up. So some rappers started like, I'm going to stay away from Vlad because he might be the feds, or at least he's giving the feds info. Then other rappers like, no, I'm still fucking with Vlad. Vlad is cool. He's for the culture, whatever. Is he a culture vulture or is he here for the culture? Either way, there was some other stuff that I could go into about. He said some things that certain rappers like, yo, you're dissing the honorable Minister Farrakhan, who's like the Nation of Islam leader that most rappers since the late 80s always was like, yo, he's our go-to guy for spirituality. So Vlad kind of said some things that people didn't like about Farrakhan, and that never got settled well. So Vlad's kind of been on the outs, yet still on the inside with hip hop culture for the last couple of years. That's just a little background about who Vlad is. One more thing you need to know about this is these other two people. Well, yeah, I won't show you one of them. So at the top, you have a rapper/singer by the name of Tory Lanez. Jay-Z at the bottom. We'll talk about why Jay-Z is here. But years ago, 5 years, 6 years ago, something like that, the rapper Tory Lanez had a situation with the female rapper Megan Thee Stallion. And a gun went off. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. Might get my channel with this video demonetized. A pew pew, that's how they say it. A pew pew went off. I don't care. A gun went off, and Megan was shot in the foot. And the question was this an accident? Did Tory Lanez shoot her intentionally? Then Megan said, no, he shot me intentionally. Bottom line, Tory Lanez is locked up right now in jail because he was found guilty of having shot the rapper Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Okay, that's the backstory that you need to know. Vlad has maintained for years that he thinks Tory Lanez is actually guilty of shooting her in the foot. But there's all this controversy about whether or not he did it, whether or not, there was some other explanation, whether Megan's lying, all this. And then one more thing you need to know to follow this train of thought. Megan Thee Stallion is managed by Jay-Z's Rockefeller Management Company. She's signed to Warner Brothers record deal-wise. She's managed by Jay-Z's Rockefeller Company. And so I don't know, I'm giving you backstory, but I don't know the entire backstory of, here's what I do know. I know for years, people have been looking to take Jay-Z down. They would say he's part of the Illuminati. They would say he sold his soul. He's mentioned in the Epstein files, and there's no evidence to suggest that what's in that file concerning him might be true. But there was a claim that him and I forget who the other rapper was. Was it Wale or somebody else? Jay-Z and some rapper supposedly did something to somebody. So that's in the Epstein files, but uncorroborated. So people are always looking for a way to take typically rich and powerful people, but Jay-Z being one of them, the first rap billionaire, take him down. And so this is what gets us into what we're talking about tonight. So DJ Vlad, the guy that's got this, this viral video show, just started putting up these tweets on his platform, on his Twitter page or Instagram, one of the two. And then this is what I'm not going to preface it. I'm just going to read it. Okay, I'm just going to read what he said. This is DJ Vlad. This was about maybe a month ago, 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, DJ Vlad posted this. Maybe 2 weeks, I don't even know. Wait, where's it at? Sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't find it. All that setup. Let me go back on and search for it now. I'm sorry, y'all. So he came online making all these salacious statements about Tory Lanez and I'm sorry, that is it. I'm tripping. I did have it. It's on the screen, which means it's in my phone. Okay. So here's what he posted a couple weeks ago. DJ Vlad says this: I have a confession to make. Rock Nation, that's Jay-Z's management company, Rock Nation has been paying me to support Megan. Now, just that statement alone, right? That statement alone made a bunch of people say, well, that's not surprising because you've got a platform. You interview all these rappers. They go viral off of your interviews. And if the rappers have something, salacious or something that's scandalous, you might or you might not corner them on that. And if you don't corner them on that, it's probably because their label is paying you to not be harsh to this artist. So the fact that Megan Thee Stallion, who there are some naysayers of Megan Thee Stallion, DJ Vlad has been a staunch, I don't know if you can call him a supporter, but he's always been like, yeah, I believe Tory Lanez shot her. And maybe he has been like a staunch supporter of Megan Thee Stallion. I don't know. But if he's never had a negative thing to say about her, it's very believable. His first part of this confession, right? The first part of the confession is Rock Nation has been paying me to support Megan Thee Stallion. Back in the day, we used to call that payola. Record companies would pay record companies would pay radio stations to play their artists' music. And that's illegal, but they found a way to do it anyway. So this first statement is payola, and it's like, big deal. We figured that was happening anyway. He says they also paid off all the jury members to convict Tory Lanez. Oh, hold on, Vlad. Whoa. This is an exclusive now. Now you're breaking news. Jay-Z's Rockefeller Rock Nation management paying you to support Meg is not news. You saying that Jay-Z's Rockefeller management company paid the jury in the Tory Lanez trial to convict him for shooting Meg, that's how he got convicted, because we all thought he was innocent anyway. But now you're saying the reason he was convicted is because, damn, Vlad, and we know you, Vlad, like you put the real on. You had these rappers on your program, so you would know because you're on the inside. So not only did they pay off the jury members to convict Tory Lanez, and they bribed the judge too. Jay-Z did a verse for his grandson's new album. So Vlad says they bribed the judge. Jay-Z agreed to do a rap verse for the grandson of the judge on his new album, and that got the jury to convict Tory Lanez, the shooter of Megan Thee Stallion. Hold on, he's not over. They paid off Megan's doctor to lie about the bullet fragments. She was never shot. Vlad, you killing her. Because Meg, they had the doctor's report that showed the bullet fragments. They even had an x-ray. Jay-Z's company bribed the jury, the judge, and the doctor to produce this statement about the bullet fragments. Hold on. It's not over yet, y'all. It's not over yet. The LA police are all on Jay-Z's payroll, and it doesn't stop with the LA. But you're not ready for that part yet. Like Vlad, you don't want the real. It ain't just the LA police. And you could just imagine there are people who were like, yo, we always suspected that this dude was, how he ended up with Beyonce anyway. He ain't even that good of a rap. How he get to be the first billion. We always thought, back when we was talking that Illuminati stuff, he tried to deny it. Now we know. Now we know how rich and powerful. Because think about it. This is in the midst too of the Epstein files. So we're already getting more proof that the elites, the wealthy, they operate at a level that we could only dream about, and we do dream about it. We have thoughts about these conspiracies that they're working out. Now, Vlad, the dude with the platform, Vlad, thank you. You're corroborating, you're confirming what we always thought. But now that you're saying it, now it's got some weight to it. But Vlad says, it ain't just the LA police. Y'all ain't ready for that part, though. The Mexican guy who stabbed Tory, so in jail, Tory Lanez was actually stabbed. This was about a year or so ago, maybe a few months ago. Tory Lanez was assaulted in jail, stabbed. Guess what? Vlad says, the Mexican guy who stabbed Tory, who do you think paid him to do that? You already know the answer to that. Hold on. Hold on. The 3 Supreme Court judges who denied Tory Lanez appeal all paid off by the Rock Mafia. Tory Lanez made an appeal. Hey, my case didn't go right. It wasn't fair. I got new evidence, whatever. Made an appeal. 3 of the judges, Supreme Court judges, denied Tory's appeal. Why do you think they did that? Vlad says they were paid off by Jay-Z. Hold on. One more thing before y'all go. Jay also paid Trump not to pardon Tory, because Trump is notorious for pardoning all kinds of people. But the reason why he didn't pardon Tory Lanez, Jay-Z paid him not to pardon Tory. Even though it's a state case, Trump can only pardon federal cases, but knowing Trump likes to bend the rules, Jay wasn't taking any chances. So you might say, why would Jay-Z pay Trump to pardon Tory? It was a state case that he was convicted on. He says Jay-Z wasn't taking no chances. So he paid Trump just to make sure, like, hey, you can bend these rules, right? This was a couple weeks ago. And so the internets, the interwebs, the social medias went wild. We knew it. We could have thought, we just needed, thank you for saying, and they took it and they went even further with it and it was gone. Now, for some reason, Jay-Z and camp never reacted, never responded. Like, you got to ask yourself, why didn't they respond? Now, there's one reason to not respond to salacious claims, right? We talked about this on the podcast a while back. There's something called Brandolini's law. Brandolini's law is this. It's much harder to stop a lie. Let me say it a different way. It's much harder to stop a lie with the truth than it is to get a lie going in the first place. It takes almost no effort to tell a lie and have that lie travel around the world. But to tell the truth about that lie, do you know how much effort and energy it takes to correct a lie with the truth? This is why the old saying goes, a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth gets its boots on. It's not that the truth doesn't want to travel. It's getting its boots on. It's preparing for the journey. But by the time before the truth can even get its boots on, a lie is halfway around the world. And the truth doesn't even know all the different little cracks and crevices that the lie has made its way into. So even if the truth can reach 500,000 people, but the lie is already spread to 3 billion, like, what is the truth going to do? And then it's not just that, it's people, because our minds function in such a receptive way, the first thing we hear is typically going to be the thing that we lock in on, and then it's going to take a lot of effort to overturn that. So a lot of times with Brandolini's law, like, you're fighting an uphill battle trying to undo a lie, even though you've got the truth. The lie got out there first. It's going to be much harder to correct the lie with the truth. So sometimes people don't refute lies about themselves because they know trying to refute it might actually make me even look more guilty. It's harder to correct a lie with the truth than it is to just get the lie out there. So maybe that's why Jay and his team never said, Vlad's lying. But the discerning folk, and some of y'all in the yeah, some of y'all in the chat are saying, all nonsense. Is this a joke? Well, the discerning, the skeptical, or maybe the people who you're not skeptical yet, but you've been fooled before. We live in an age of real fake news. You live in an age of something goes viral and then you realize, oh, that wasn't real. And you have to go back and delete you shared it. Now you got to go back and delete it because we live in that kind of age. So you would think that people seeing Vlad say that, but it's Vlad, right? You can go to his actual page. It's not like somebody just shared it. You go to his pages and he actually said this. Okay, so you can't say someone's saying Vlad said it. Vlad said it. But is that the last question you would ask? Did Vlad say it? Yes, he did say it. So then should I believe it? Or Could you ask what Jessa Joy just said? Like, is this a joke? Jessa J, I'm sorry. Is this a joke? Is Vlad joking? Like, what's going on here? The discerning asked that question. The skeptical asked that question. The people who've just been tricked before and learned I better be a little slower before I share memes asked the question, really? Is this a joke? But that got around the world that Vlad was giving up the tapes. Vlad was blowing up the system. Vlad was pulling back the curtain. Vlad was exposing it all that. Even when I read it, I thought to myself, clearly, because I'm a skeptical person, any claim I hear, I'm going to think twice, 3 times. I thought to myself when I saw Vlad, this is either satire or something else. But then when a few days went by and he hadn't taken it down, and I think I saw something else, I was like, oh shit. Like, but here's what I did. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's what I didn't do. I didn't think, oh shit, Vlad's telling the truth. I thought, oh, Vlad's losing his mind. Like, I still didn't believe it. I just feel like he did say it, but something's going on. Like, this is an episode. Like, it's too, like, no. The fuck are you talking about? He paid off the LAPD and Supreme Court judges. Like, no. Like, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not humanly impossible. It's just so improbable that it becomes implausible. And people ask all the time, we're going to get to the Jesus issue in a second. People ask all the time, oh, so you don't think Jesus was real, or you don't think that, you doubt his existence, or you doubt these, whatever. So you're going to do the same thing for Alexander the Great? You're going to do the same thing for, I'm like, yes, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to doubt their existence, but I'm going to treat the claims with the appropriate amount of receptivity and skepticality. I don't know what the right way to conjugate that is. What's the skepticism? There you go. That's the noun. With the appropriate amount of skepticism in light of what the evidence for the claim is. The claims about Julius Caesar and Alexander the Great are not the same kinds of claims that we have about Jesus. So they get a different level of skepticism. But I still want some evidence for what I'm willing to accept as true. So just keep that in mind, because that's going to come up. But my point is, I didn't just jump to Vlad said it, oh, it must be true. It was Vlad said it. What could have made Vlad say that? And when you deal with history, whether it's Jesus, these claims from Vlad, Alexander the Great, there's 3 questions you want to be asking. As far as we know about reality, about human capacity, is it possible? You want to be asking that. Anytime you hear a claim that someone's telling you, hey, this is what happened, that's a claim about history. I don't care how far back or how recent it is. You want to be asking 3 questions. Is it possible? Is it probable? Is it plausible? And so when I heard all these claims that Vlad was making, it's possible that Jay-Z could have paid off Supreme Court judges, and it's possible. We know that to be humanly possible. Can't doubt it on that front. But in terms of how probable and how plausible, I could not get my head around it being probable and plausible. All right. So after a week or so has gone by, Vlad came back to like clear up the misconception, because you had people who were like doubting him. Then you had people who were like, no, he just exposed it. Why are y'all not listening? You got Epstein on this hand. You got Jay-Z on this hand. They're 2 peas in a pod. Vlad just told y'all. So Vlad came back responsibly, I guess, It's like yelling fire in a crowded theater. There's certain things you just can't say without being responsible for the stampede that happens after. Vlad said, let me clear up for the doubters and the believers. Let me clear up. Now, if you haven't already gone and Googled it on your own, put in the chat or drop in the comments. Vlad clears it up. Do you think Vlad doubled down? Or do you think Vlad said, I was just playing with y'all? What do you think happened? If you've gone and looked it up or you know already, don't spoil it. If you don't know, there's 23 of y'all. If you don't know and you haven't looked it up, what do you think? Vlad came back and doubled down? This is all facts. Or Vlad came back and said, I was just playing. Why would y'all believe that? What do you think? Mo Wheat said, is it AI? Like, what's going on? Okay, that's something that you could have thought. What do you think Vlad said when he came back? And I know y'all are 20 seconds behind in the live, so I'll shoot some shit in the meantime. We all going to, I am going to talk about my the pastor who basically tried to chastise me for questioning the credulity of believers. We're gonna get to that in a second, but we got to deal with this part first. We got to see Vlad's clearing it up. All right, here it comes. Mo Wheat said he was fucking with us. Tranview said he is arrogant. He doubled down. Hey, Eddie said, in this environment, I'm going to say he doubled down. Hey, Eddie said, plus Vlad loves stirring up shit. Okay. Anybody else want to throw your take in? I'm not frozen. I'm just waiting for people to throw their answers in the chat. If you're doing something, don't. If you're driving, don't pull over to the side of the road just to get in the chat. If nobody else comments in a second, I'll reveal. All right, I'll go to the reveal. Vlad said, probably super small on your end. I'll read it. He says, I tried to make this post as ridiculous as possible, but after 14 million impressions is the amount of time somebody's either saw it, liked it, reacted to it, or whatever, shared it. After 14 million impressions, it seems like millions of people still think that I was serious. I was not. Everything in this post was made up. I was never paid by Roc Nation, nor was Jay-Z involved in any of these outlandish things. My point for posting this was to show how people will believe any outrageous lie that someone says to prove their own conspiracy theory. I proved my point. Now check this part out. I know that a lot of people will take this post and create a new narrative that Jay-Z forced me to do this. He did not. Nobody from Roc Nation reached out to me because they saw it was obvious satire. I'm going to stop right there because there's more, but I'm going to stop right there. So think about that. He comes back to clear it up. I was just trying to prove a point that people will take the most outlandish thing and take it around with it because if it supports something they already believe, they're more prone to do it. He says, y'all proved my point. Y'all took this post and you were already conspiracy addled in your mind about Jay-Z, and you took this because it was the proof you needed to run with it. And then he says, but I know some of y'all are going to take even this and say, nah, Jay put the screws to him. Somebody probably either they got a hold of his phone and they typed this for him, or they got a gun to his head. So even And so now DJ Vlad is the victim of his own experiment, because now he can't even clear up the issue. Once you told that lie, even though it wasn't a lie, it was an experiment, a social experiment for him. Not a lie, but an untruth designed to test a theory, but an untruth nonetheless. So we could classify it as a kind of lie. He told the lie himself. It got out there, and then when he tried to put the brakes on it, he was like, damn, even in me trying to put the brakes on it, I know this is not going to do the trick, because y'all are going to take this and turn this into more proof of the lie. Me telling the truth that I was telling a lie is now going to be seen as more proof of the lie. Like, what the hell? Before we go to the Jesus bit, what's the point? Even if the Jesus story was an untruth, the second an untruth is told, you have exponentially, almost infinitely increased whatever effort it's going to take to tell the truth about the lie. It's going to take gargantuan strength to correct the lie. Even if you started it and you want to correct it, right? That's the thing. So now we're going to watch a video of somebody who's questioning the Bible. And then the Christian, I don't know if this person is a Christian, but they're definitely a defender of the idea of God and the Bible, right? She is going to defend the Bible and try to give a reason as to why you shouldn't doubt. So I want you to pay attention to several things. Pay attention to the guy, his questioning the Bible. Pay attention to the woman, her defense of the Bible. But this is all going to be introduced by a local pastor. Excuse me, a local pastor. Actually, a pastor of a church that I went to for several years, a church called Epiphany in Philadelphia. He's going to introduce it. And then we're going to, as we do here, we're going to stop it every once in a while and just talk about this.
Watch. So we can believe something that we don't.
Taking back to the top.
This video gives me hope. It gives me hope. Watch.
Now, before you watch, just think. So this is more background. This is a pastor in Philadelphia. And one of the things that he's big on from the clips that I've caught, they come across my feed, he's big on some kind of revival, because he sees people like me walking away from the faith. He sees people questioning the Bible, Christians either going to Hebrew Israelitism or going to skepticism and atheism. He sees this. And he wants to see a revival. He calls the people who have not defected, he calls them the remnant. And that's sort of a spiritual way to make you feel good about being continually gullible. Like, you're not going to take the bait and leave. Oh, you're the remnant. And so I'm the remnant. I'm what God has preserved, not what my credulity has preserved. God's preserving me with credulity, like with this over eagerness to believe claims. God's preserving me while everyone else is questioning the claims. If I call you the remnant, it's almost like the teacher giving a student a gold star. If I call you remnant, you feel better about being gullible, about sticking around. So this pastor believes that there's a remnant, but he also wants to see a revival. And so he introduces what we're about to watch with, this gives me hope. So if you saw a pastor who wants to preserve the remnant of believers, the small portion that's left of believers, and he wants to strengthen them and see a revival, new growth, new converts, and now he's getting hope. What do you think is going to give him hope? What kind of a video do you think we're about to see that's going to give that kind of pastor hope? And let me just say, another thing that I saw that he has an issue with is all of the social media counter apologists. And I don't even know if any of these people are counter apologists. They're just people who are skeptical of the Bible and the Bible's claims in Christianity. So everybody's got, TikTok channels and, YouTube channels and whatever, and they're coming at the Bible. And so that kind of stuff is frustrating to his soul because he's seeing a lot of his people, not just locally in Philly. This guy's got viewers all over the world. He's seeing people getting tripped up by this. And I would imagine in his prayer is God raise up a standard against this onslaught of demonic activity, because he thinks all of this stuff, he thinks it's demonic. So he says, this video gives me hope, y'all. It gives me hope, right? It gives me hope. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I'd love to see what's going to give you, like what's giving a guy like you hope. And so let's see what it is.
This video gives me hope. It gives me hope. Watch.
So we can believe something that we don't know who wrote it, but your baby dad can come in the house or your husband coming out and tell you something, and cracking his story kills the whole story.
And I get, you're right.
So, but
Right.
you can listen, you can read a million cracks and just be like, but this the Bible.
So tell me this.
So valid question, right? Valid question. You got a book full of stories. You don't know these people. Somebody wrote this. And you believe it. And it's got all these cracks in the story. You believe it. He says your partner can come in the house, tell you a story. It got one crack in it. You doubt that. That's an excellent point. Like, yo, I don't know if people think, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever. That's an excellent point. It's not just the Bible's got cracks. It's you don't know the people who wrote it. It's thousands of years ago, and it's got a bunch of cracks. You trust it. Somebody you know today tell a story. It got one crack. You questioning it. Like, I never even thought that thought. I'm like, yo, but she's got a response. And this is what gives him hope. It gives him hope.
Quick. Have you heard any miracles in your life that people that you know of, maybe they got hit by a car, got shot, got something, they still here?
For sure.
Tell me one of them.
Shit, I know niggas done got shot 17 times. And
oh, trigger warning. If anybody's triggered by the N-word, he's going to use the N-word. But so she says, think about what she said now. She asked him a legitimate question because he's saying, hey, somebody tell you a story and it got one crack. You question it. You don't question that stuff that got a bunch of cracks. So legitimate question, but she comes back and says, hey, look, you've heard stories before of miracles, right? He says, well, tell me what kind of miracle you're talking about. Now, here's what happens. A lot of times Christians don't understand the category error they're making here. Hearing about something that is statistically improbable does not make it impossible. That's not a miracle. She says somebody get hit by a car and they recover, or somebody get cancer and she says they get healed. But even the word healed is like you're supplying the answer that you want when you say healed, because they could recover. They could have remission. They could go into remission. That's not necessarily healed. You haven't substantiated that you're talking about something supernatural. So she's saying, have you ever heard stories about miracles? He asked, what do you mean by miracles? She's not really going to give him a miracle. She's going to talk about things that happen naturally and say, you heard about miracles, right? But okay.
correct, he got out and walked out. He ain't want no stretch. I haven't seen those stuff.
Did they tell you that, or were you there to witness them every step of the way?
So I heard stories about somebody that got shot 17 times and lived. She says, did you see it yourself?
Of them.
Somebody with his pictures, this Instagram, all type of shit. Like, boy, that nigga walked away.
Mm-hmm. But listen, you just said it, right? You wasn't.
Hold on. Because that was another good point. Like, you're asking me about stuff that happens today. We got Instagram, we got all kinds, it ain't just people's word. There's supporting, corroborating evidence. All right. She kind of skips over that.
there to see every little detail. You just kind of pulled off of what everybody else done seen and told you about the person who got shot 17 times. Amen.
But he right here patched up. He bleeding like a mother. This shit real.
I get it. In 20 years, somebody will be like, y'all remember that story Bankhead said about the man who got shot 17 times, who done stayed alive? They'll be like, yeah, I believe Bank because Bank said it, so
No.
that's that. But let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Bank said it, so it gotta be fact, because I know Bank ain't no flaw man like that. He wouldn't just be lying about somebody getting shot 17 times staying alive. So we're gonna go off of what Bank said 50 years from now. And y'all remember that story Bank had said? They don't know nothing about whoever this man that got shot 17 times. 100 years from now, hey, remember that man who got shot? Bank said, remember that old story? The man who got shot, man, you could survive. Like, you may be able to survive. It's the same thing in the Bible.
All right, so chat, talk to me. Did she rock it? Did she kill it? Like, come on now. You heard the story. You wasn't there, but then you tell the story, and then 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people still telling the story. They don't. She said they don't know the man who got shot, but they say Bankhead said it. And Bankhead don't lie. This, that, and the third. 100 years from now, they still telling the story because they said Bankhead said it, and you're a trustworthy person. Would that be enough to make you say, damn, maybe I'm wrong to distrust this source? Because we do that, right? We have people telling stories that we weren't around for, and it gets passed down, and we still believe it. Like, good enough? Would that stop you in your tracks and make you say, I ain't think about that? Like, so, and she says the same thing with the Bible. She said it. Same thing with the Bible. We can trust that the same way somebody could trust you telling the story about this man that got shot 17 times. Talk to me, chat. Would this make you think, if you were still a believer, if you were the past, like, this gives me hope. We got people out here answering these critics, answering these skeptics, putting it down. I'm not frozen. Oh, no, my picture's frozen, but it'll be back in a second. Waiting in the chat, waiting to see what y'all say. How would you respond? I know I got to take a minute to type up. How would you respond to this? If you're the guy, what do you respond? I know I'm asking y'all a bunch of different questions. If you're the guy, what would you respond if she hit you with that logic? Like, yo, 100 years from now, they're going to still be telling stories that you told that they wasn't around for. Does that mean it wasn't true? If you were that guy, I know you're thinking of your response and you're typing your response out. How would you respond? In a minute, I'm going to play this guy's response, and then we'll talk about whether or not this is a solid answer to the challenge. I'm about to play his response. I know a couple of y'all are about to put something in the chat. That's the only reason why I'm stalling. All right. Not to distract you, but I am going to play it.
God did not write this Bible. People.
That's good.
People wrote the Bible.
That's good.
They only capture.
Take it back. Watch his face. Because he didn't have a response. Maybe you're typing one up now. He didn't have a response. Watch his face.
God did not write this Bible. People.
That's that. You, my friend, you got a gift. You got a gift, my friend. That's that. I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to be honest. I know y'all are typing and getting your responses in. I was immediately disappointed when I saw his smile there, his conceding the point. I was immediately like, no, please don't let this be it. Please don't let this be the thing that's making you say, Dad, that's a good point. All right, responses are coming in. I was really just stalling. I'm going to see what you had to say. And I knew y'all were going to pick up on it right away. See, this is the thing. Let me take this down for a second. Let me talk to you. So on Facebook, I went to this pastor's page when I saw this posted, and I just typed in the chat, in the comments, y'all cannot be serious with a side eye. Like, this cannot be the thing that's making you say, we got some spitters, y'all. We got some heavy hitters. We coming back. Like, even as a Christian, I would think you would be able to see that's not really a good argument. As a Christian, you would have been like, nah, sis, I know he probably caught you off guard or whatever, but I would have said it like, I would have said this. Somebody told me on his either on TikTok or Instagram, the woman in that clip, she commented under his share and she said, oh, thank you for sharing this. It wasn't me. Like, God just gave that to me in the moment. I don't even know how I came up with that. Would you have said like, yo, you just killed that? So let me see what y'all said. Truxton, I think, was the first one I saw. Truxton said, oh no, that's not the one. Here it was. Truxton said, this was the flawed type thinking that let me continue to believe the improbable. Yeah, I got you. Amateur Overlord says, no, you're not commenting on it. Okay. MJ Davis says, her example is bad because the Bible is based on stories passed on by word of mouth. He gave an example on IG, which is picture of proof. Okay. My Unique Monique says, she's right. The Bible was written by men with their faulty memory, embellishments, exaggeration. So factor that in. Even when she gave the comparison, she didn't say, if people start telling the story that you told, like the game of telephone, they're not going to be telling the exact same story 100 years from now. That story is going to be different. So at most, all you can say is there's a historical kernel, but the story itself in 100 years will likely have all these embellishments. She didn't mention that at all. She tried to make it this one-to-one thing. Oh, a story gets told, it gets told 100 years, same story, doesn't mean it's not true. Excellent. Yeah, excellent point. Without Faith said, I never thought about it that way. I'm not sure which way, what you're referring to there. Back boobs make me smile said, people tell stories every day doesn't mean they're true, might just be impactful. Right. Just because somebody tells a story doesn't make the story true. You don't know why they were telling the story. If you don't know why DJ Vlad told the story he told, you're going to misunderstand what the point is. DJ Vlad told his story for a rhetorical purpose. You took it as, this is facts, this must have happened. Well, we don't know why the gospel writers told their stories. For all we know, they could be stories told for strictly rhetorical purposes, and someone came along, thought they were true, and started communities based off of these stories. We'd have no idea. And even if we were to find a document, like DJ Vlad came back and had to clear it up like, hey, I only did that to prove a point. What if we find a 2,000-year-old document from the writers of the Bible, and it's buried, and it said, hey, we just told those gospel stories to see if we can get people to believe. I wonder what happened. Da, 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 da. It would be their confession saying, hey, we were lying. But you know what people today would do? Christians today, they would say, that's the devil. The devil planted that. Or, that was the enemies of the church. So even them trying to correct their story, they would not be able to do it because the lie has gone more than halfway around the world before the truth gets its boots on. So he's smiling. You're pretty good. You're pretty good. I think you got me. There's one more thing, at least one more thing. I don't think people's credulousness, their credulity, their level of belief would be as readily available to them if his story wasn't just about a guy who got shot 17 times, but a guy who got shot with 17 missiles, or a guy who got shot 17 times, 17 days in a row, or a guy who got, like, the more unbelievable his story became, the less believability it would have. Somebody getting shot 17 times is crazy and it's hard to believe, but I don't think it escapes the realm of possibility. Why? Because we know about people that have been shot 9 times. 50 Cent. We know about people who've been shot multiple times and still survive. A woman who just got shot recently by ICE agents, right? Shot 5 times, 7 holes. So we know it's possible that people can get shot a lot. 17 is a lot. Is it more than just a lot? I think it's in the realm of possibility. Is it probable? Well, we can look at the dangerous parts of cities we know about and say, well, damn, anything's, it's not, it's just possible. It's probable. And depending on that person's lifestyle, it's plausible. That's one kind of claim. You start adding more ridiculous things to the claim, well, not even just ridiculous. You start adding things to the claim that we don't know are possible, and it changes the equation. So she's not comparing his story about a guy that got shot to the Bible's regular stories. She's comparing his stories about a guy who got shot to the Bible's miraculous stories. A virgin had a child because a spirit overshadowed her. A man fed 5,000 people with just 5 pieces of bread and some fish. A resurrection happened. Those claims are extraordinary. Those are not the same kinds of claims as somebody who got shot 17 times and lived. So I wouldn't expect somebody to believe by word of mouth the extraordinary about a resurrection and virgin births and prophecy, and wouldn't expect somebody to believe that by word of mouth the same way I would expect them to believe the story of 50 Cent. And yet here he is giving her props for thinking ahead or thinking outside the box, or at least outthinking him. I'll play the rest.
That's good.
People wrote
That's
the Bible.
good. That's good. That's
They only capture the
That's
IG
good.
story enough to be able to transcend over time. They don't have everything, but what they did capture, it has stayed, and now we still reading it.
Sis killed in this video, and I love stuff like this. Man,
Did she kill in this video? Like, I'm trying to remember the kind of Christian I was. What I had been like, you know what I mean? Yo, throw her on our shoulders. Like, yo, she killed in this video? And I don't know. I won't say. I had some crazy thoughts just now. Well, I don't know. I think there's something to the idea of, oh, that's viral. Let me jump on it and add my, virality to this viralness and, keep the party going. Did she kill it? Did she really hold it down like that? I don't think anyone today should feel guilty about being suspicious of the Bible's claims, not just because of the many cracks in the story, but because the claims are extraordinary. It would take extraordinary evidence to make me think the extraordinary claims deserve more than my side eye. This is not putting a peg in the ground for the Christian faith, like, yeah, we holding it down. This is exposing how shallow the thinking is of the Christian who feels validated by this kind of reasoning. And I'm like, imagine still being back there where shallow reasoning like this would make you think that your worldview is actually like tenable. The worldview is not tenable. You have to go upstream against reality to live a life with this fiction in place. I did it for 30 years. But when you leave it, you look back and you realize, damn, I really thought like that. I really reasoned that way. I really made decisions based off that kind of grounding and that kind of logic. And celebrate you for breaking you free from that. Celebrate you for seeing through the BS and being able to call a spade and taking your life into your own hands. Celebrate you for being free from this intellectual captivity, this mental slavery. All right. This coming Friday, y'all know what's coming up. Sex After Faith, the first episode of Sex After Faith with Crystal W. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be hella fun. So make sure you got your edibles, your smoke, your drink, or whatever your thing is. Come in, relax, and get ready to chat. And on that note, I'm going to let y'all gizzo and have a great night. Hey, Eddie says, that's like when my pastor said intimacy with God means he's into me. He's into me. See, I remember that from years ago. Into me with God means he's into me. See, and the church fell out. What the fuck? Oh man. Kirk Cameron. Hey, Eddie says I should go over Kirk Cameron's podcast on hell and the fallout from his apologetic friends. I just saw that pop back up because I think Paula Gia covered it. We did an episode on Ichabod about Kirk Cameron back when that first came out. But now that he's commenting on his apologetic friends abandoning him, that's a little funny. But all right, yes, my unique Monique is right. Join the Patreon. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. I'll get back with y'all in a couple of days. Love y'all. Peace.